So having told me not to get involved in the 12th SS Panzer Division, he then sends me to this is Richard Holmes for you, yeah? I mean, he was such a dude. So he says to me, look, Reynolds is a bit of a piece of work. You've got to go and talk to him because no one else is prepared to be at this event who's from, who knows the subject like you. So I said, okay. So this is 12th of May, 1998. As you can see, Mike Reynolds, because it was a paid event from the Military History Circle, and I at that stage was quite a fairly meaningful member of the RUSI, having been a member for over 21 years at that stage. I joined when I was at university first time. Mm. And so I was kind of like one of the elders without actually having published an awful lot or done an awful lot. I was like an elder in the group, and everybody knew that I knew about this subject. So
right
there I was, and here I am. And the book was given to us because the lunch was paid for, and you got a book. Okay. So I'm sat there with the great general, and he starts talking about how marvelous this division was.
Jesus.
Right?
Yeah.
What great soldiers were. But then he started to launch into an attack on how bad the British soldiers were. Mm. And to say that I was gobsmacked hearing a British general be so condescending about British soldiers would be an understatement. So, of course, my first comment back to him was, well, I used the F word. So,
yeah.
How the can you support Fritz Witt when he was a murderous son of a...
Yeah.
Oh, there's no evidence.
No, Jesus Christ.
Right? So from that moment, it was like, ruck. So I got a call the next morning, Richard saying, so you... I hear you had a good lunch. I explained, he said, yeah, well, don't worry about it. So when I get the book home, and this is the point here, there is this chapter on crimes.
Yeah.
What you have to notice is where he got his evidence from for the chapter. And the point is here, Hubert Meyer, Kurt Meyer, and Sayer and Berting. Now, to say that's biased is just ludicrous. It's like he's suddenly become an Obergruppenführer overnight. And he was, well, this general thing.
Yeah.
And he was, well, it was so bizarre. And subsequently, I came to the conclusion it was more than just making money. By that stage, even today, right. if you do a book on the SS, and I know this full well, if I wrote a book on the stuff that I know, it's liable to sell. Okay, I know that for a fact.
Yep.
But here is another political issue. He was a subject of almost a kidnapping in the 70s, I believe, by the Red Army faction. So he took total umbrage against anybody who was anything other than more right-wing, more conservative than the conservatives.
Yeah.
And he decided to take it upon himself to be the defender of the SS in Britain and elsewhere. And it was just incredible.
Yeah. I don't know what to say because I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense of why he did what he did.
But the commodification was so rank. I mean, I can understand Hubert Meyer saying, "Oh yeah, well we've got to have memorials left for when we disappear." But here, this is just something else. And of course, he managed to get his own publisher to say what a wonderful book it was, which is always a bad sign. Yeah, it's always a bad sign.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if we move on.
I just